I'm half Belgian, half American, and I grew up in New York. So, I mean, I'm quite lucky that I was able to grow up in such a big city. And of course, what is in New York? The United Nations. So now, as you know, I work for an organization called UN Women. So I work for a part of the United Nations. You may have seen your president, President Zelensky, was in New York this week. He was speaking at the UN Security Council and the UN General Assembly. And so in New York, the United Nations is like a big, big building with a park around it. It's something that's quite visible. So the same way Tanya explained that when she was young, she was in the middle of a stadium and this gave her inspiration. When I was growing up in New York, seeing the United Nations, that's what gave me inspiration. So already, when I was your age, I would see the building and be like, wow, that is such an amazing place. That's where decisions about the world are being made. So that's where one day I want to work. So, you know, that's part of it is because I just happened to grow up in New York. So I saw that building all the time and I realized, I want to be part of that. Now, when I was your age, many years ago, there was no war going on in Ukraine, but we had a different kind of war. So at that time, when I was your age, we had what we called the Cold War. So basically, it was the war between the USSR, between the Soviet Union, and the NATO countries. So when I was your age, that was something that I was always very worried about. I was always thinking, we're going to have a nuclear war. We're going to end up between the United States and the Soviet Union having a war. It's going to be nuclear weapons and so on. So when I was your age, I decided, why is this situation like this? Why is the world like this? And the decision that I made at that point was to start studying Russian. So even though I was growing up in New York, and even though I'm half Belgian, I also speak French, I decided at 13, I want to learn Russian because I want to understand the language of basically what was the enemy.